for many years, and that I think is really interesting to see. How can we provide both a lot of individual freedom in these dimensions, but also have some meaningful cooperation with people? So I have found it necessary to distinguish between individual learning, which is more or less conducted alone. Remember that I have been working in a school that has a history coming from a correspondence school, where students used to work very alone, and it worked very well for many years. And I've been working in university settings where students collaborate a lot in groups, but they are very dependent on the group. They work together, they submit, they work together, they are dependent on each other. I say that the students in a collaborative learning environment, they sink or swim together because they are so dependent on each other. So what I have tried to deal with and what my institution in Norway has tried to develop is a learning environment where we deal with what we call cooperative learning. And we think that takes place in networks. And in networks, there are a lot of people that may or can help each other, but they are not really dependent on each other. So I think that's my way of distinguishing between these terms. So we have been struggling with this for a number of years. How can we develop cooperative learning environments that, to some sort, provides as much individual flexibility as possible, but also allows people to feel some affinity, some part of a group learning environment. And we call it cooperative learning environment. And as you can see, we struggle to come as far up in the yellow area here as possible. But it is a challenge, and it's difficult, and has economical consequences, pedagogical consequences, and it is not easy. But we are coming there. And the wonderful thing is that all these new Web 2.0 services supports networks and allows us to do this much better these days than we could do 5 years ago. So we have developed a learning philosophy at NKI. We say that we facilitate individual freedom within a learning community in which online students serve as mutual resources without being dependent on each other. And if you see, I have made some of this green and some of it red. And the problem is that they try to work not together, but it's really difficult to combine the green and the red. So that is the challenge, and that is what we have been dealing a lot with. And I think we are making a lot of progress. So we say that cooperative learning is based on voluntary participation in a learning community. If students at NKI want to work alone, it's okay. And a lot of students want to work alone. And that's okay for us. But we try to make it as interesting and positive as possible to allow the students to cooperate with each other. I have been working with this as a director of development of the technical solutions and the pedagogical development for a number of years. I started with developing our first learning management system in 1986. We didn't know that it was a learning management system, but that was what we made. I taught my first distance education online course in 1987, and I think that it's probably the first distance online education that was taught in Europe. And we have been innovating a lot since that time. But since 2004, we have focused on this challenge to make cooperative learning and develop tools and services to support this strategy of cooperative learning. And I will today come a little bit into the individual planning system, the learning partner system, and the global students profiles that we have built to support this environment. Here are some of our students. We made them come to our offices when we celebrated